Thanks for visiting Bella's Vistas. Please like and subscribe. Click the notification bell as well. We visited a historic fort, Fort Clatsop. Very amusing place, really interesting. There were some log cabins there, some artifacts like this carver's bench. Great to visit. There was quite an itinerary, raising the colors and teaching you how to write. There were some interesting sculptures here as well with the flintlocks. A grass skirt, interesting. This gentleman was amazing. He told me interesting things about Lewis and Clark and their expedition. How they had to make notes every day, rain or shine. How the ink would dry out throughout the day. And there was an exhibit inside of the map maker's equipment. There's the compass, which is one of the ways to tell direction. A chronometer. The chronometer had to be wound every day at about the same time to maintain accuracy, because you have to know what time it is to find out where you are. This is another thing for measuring the distance of the sun above the horizon. When you know how high the sun is over the horizon on a certain time, you know about where you are. Some interesting writing equipment. Here I'm trying to write my name with a quill pen. It's not easy. I kind of got a Batman logo at the beginning of it there. Now we're going on a hike through the woods. Look at the size of these trees that have been felled by the side of the path. Just amazingly big, huge trees, and a nice green path to walk along. Just wonderful. A bit tiring. It wore me down a little bit because they tell you like it's half a mile, but it sure seems like a lot more than half a mile. Took maybe an hour and a half to cover this path, but I did stop and take pictures all along the way, so that's one of the things. And my backpack's about 32 pounds, so it's not to be sneezed at either. The ferns along the path, amazing. And look at the size of that gigantic tree root. Wowee, unbelievable. Now, I've been told that there's more life on a dead tree than there is on a living tree. All kinds of micro things get it going on in there, little organisms, and break things down and make nutrients for the new trees to come along. Some of the trees they called a nurse tree, where little trees start growing on top of the tree, and then as the tree is absorbed, it disappears, and it looks like the trees are standing on stilts. There was lots of little rivers and creeks through here, and really great spots to take photographs. It is a rainforest, so it's very green and lush. It's amazing to be hiking through this rainforest. So many things to see everywhere you look. Green, 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 moss, different kinds of moss growing on the trees. There's a boardwalk and paths through here. Really amazing overlooks to stop and maybe take a picture of a creek running through. Maybe seeing some different kinds of moss hanging off the trees. The moss that hangs on the trees actually gets its moisture and nutrients from the air, so it doesn't kill the tree or harm it in any way. Look at this old tree root here with the fern in front of it. Just amazingly huge big trees. Lots of little waterfalls. Bella really enjoyed overlooking the waterfalls. She has a lot of fun watching them taking pictures. I almost fell in the creek down there. I slipped a little bit when I looked up and lost my horizon. Bit risky sometimes. This huge tree had a box built around it, which kind of spoils the view for me. Another wonderful waterfall here. Just great. I love the waterfalls. To sit there and listen to them, watch the water going down. It's just wonderful. So nice to be away from the city and be out in the woods like this. Even shamrocks growing at the base of a tree. Look at all the moss hanging down. As I said, the moss grows there from the air. It gets its nutrients and moisture out of the air, so it doesn't harm the tree in any way. The trees and the moss can get along very well together. and there's lots of moss on the trees. Here I'm adjusting my polarizer and a couple things, trying to get a different shot. Here we are in the Hoh rainforest, and we're doing the moss walk. It's a little loop. Really interesting. Look at the trees. Just look at that moss lighting up on the trees. It's unbelievable. You'd think the moss would eat up the trees, but it doesn't. It gets its nutrition from the air. Wonderful plants everywhere, so lush and green. That's why they call it a rainforest, because it gets more than its fair share of rain. One place I was in Hawaii gets over 400 inches of rain a year. That's like an inch of rain every day. Plus, that's a lot. But this, I don't know the specs on this forest, but it's sure beautiful. Wonderful to hike along here. Just totally lose yourself in the surroundings. Tree bent over the path like that. I imagine the tree was there before the path was there, but I don't know. This is near a native reserve, so I imagine the natives lived here. Under a route like this, you'd be able to take shelter in there from the elements and a bit from the animals. If you had a fire at the opening of that, you'd be pretty safe and warm inside there. You could put some things over it too. Just amazing. The world is so full of many things. I hope I get to see lots of more places yet. Been traveling across Canada and the United States extensively. Been to Ireland, been to Hawaii, but Hawaii is United States. Beautiful trees here. And a little pond like this surrounded by all this lush green vegetation, I think it's incredibly peaceful to look at. It's like a mantra to be able to sit there and meditate on things. Beautiful trees. Look at the moss hanging down again. I mean, wow. The trees are nice, but without the moss, you wouldn't be that striking. We're in the Hoh National Rainforest, and there's certainly no shortage of views to be had here. These trees are just uncanny with all this moss and the ferns. Wow, what a view. Well, we've had a great time exploring the forest, so what say we go look for some beaches next? Here I'm taking a path down to a beach. And if you want to see what's at the end of this path, come on back and watch our next video, because our next video is going to have beaches, sunsets, all kind of wonderful things. Again, thanks for visiting Bella's Vistas. Please like and subscribe. Click the notification bell and come on back soon. Please share the videos.